Good afternoon. All this meeting is called to order. Mr. Troman, does anyone sign up for public comment? All right, let's see. Agenda item 3. No cases to reconsider. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Let's move then to agenda item 4, tax liability case. No tax cases on docket 22. No fair housing cases, no child labor cases under agenda item 6.
That's correct. No fair housing, child labor, or tax liability cases.
Under agenda item 7, we have no wage claim cases on docket 22 pulled for additional discussion.
That is correct. There are no full cases for wage claim cases for docket 22. However, you should have received the short form dissent list for the wage claim cases.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining wage claim cases on docket 22.
I second the motion, except for those cases in which I am dissenting, as reflected on wage claim short form and dissent list for docket 22.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I am dissenting, as reflected in wage claim short form dissent list for docket 22.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. Let's move to agenda item 8, consideration of unemployment insurance cases on docket 22. Please proceed when you're ready.
Case 322-3670, Commissioner Trevino.
I agree that the AT2 decision should be set aside as it failed to rule on the timeliness of the claimant's petition to reopen. Regarding the timeliness of the claimant's petition to reopen and whether the claimant had good cause for her failure to appear at AT1, the claimant was initially qualified and filed payment requests through the benefit week ending 3/26 of 22, at which time she stopped filing claims because she had returned to work. The claimant did not know that the employer had filed an appeal and reasonably believed that her business with the commission had concluded. Therefore, when she moved in April of 2022, she had no reason to know that she needed to change her address of record with the commission. Due to this, the complainant did not receive the AT1 decision mailed on 6/29 of 22 or the hearing notice that was mailed on 6/7 of 22. Set aside AT2, deem the complainant's petition to reopen timely. The claimant established good cause for AT1, resubmit.
We should set aside the AT2 decision and reinstate the AT1 decision, disqualifying the claimant from benefits. Claimants filed her Rule 16 petition to reopen well after the deadline for a timely appeal. Since the claimant's R16 petition was untimely, we do not have jurisdiction to rule on the good cause issue, nor the underlying job separation. As such, we should set aside AT2 decision and reinstate the AT1 decision in full force and effect. Set aside AT2 decision, untimely Rule 16 petition to reopen, voluntary leaving, no charge back, sever adequate employee response.
So aside the AT2 decision, untimely claimant petition to reopen, voluntary leaving, no charge back, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent.
Thank you. I have your short form dissent.
3456440, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant filed her PEUC claim in October of 2020 and last filed payment requests on this claim on 3/21 of 21. She then last filed payment requests on a subsequent claim on 9/5 of 21. The determinations in this case were not issued until almost a year later, well after the end of the complainant's benefit year, and the AT1 hearing notice was not mailed until January of 2023. The claimant was not monitoring her mail or electronic correspondence because she returned to work and was working international flights and had no reason to believe that she would receive correspondence from the commission. The commission's delay in issuing the documentation constituted commission misinformation sufficient to establish that the claimant had good cause for her failure to appear at AT1 and to deem the claimant's appeal timely. Reverse the AT, claimant had good cause for AT1, timely claimant appeal, resubmit for merits testimony.
The AT decision is supportable. Ultimately, the claimant missed the first hearing because she did not check her mailbox regularly and was unaware of the hearing. That was not good cause for missing the hearing and leaves the first AT decision in effect, which was the claimant filed a late appeal from determinations imposing an earnings adjustment and a denial of a waiver of the resulting overpayment. Without a timely appeal in place, the commission is unable to consider the merits of the underlying determinations. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision, no good cause for missing the first hearing, late AT, earnings adjustment, overpayment of $2,951, waiver denied.
Good cause for claimant's non-appearance at AT1, timely claim and appeal resubmit.
We will resubmit the case.
Three five three eight eight four five, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. As in the companion case, the claimant filed her PEUC claim in October of 2020 and last filed payment request on this claim in 3/21 of 21. She then last filed request for a subsequent claim on 9/5 of 21. The determinations in this case were not issued until well after over a year later, and well after the end of the claimant's benefit year. And the AT1 notice, hearing notice, was not mailed until April of 2023. The claimant was not monitoring her mail or electronic correspondence because she had returned to work and was working international flights and had no reason to believe that she would receive correspondence from the commission. The commission's delay in issuing this documentation constituted commission misinformation sufficient to establish that the claimant had good cause for her failure to appear at AT1, and then deemed the claimant's appeal timely. Modify the AT, claimant had good cause for AT1, timely claimant appeal, resubmit for merits testimony.
The AT decision is supportable. I agree that the claimant had good cause for missing the first hearing. However, the claimant filed a late appeal from determinations imposing an overpayment and a denial of waiver of the overpayment. Without the timely appeal in place, the commission is unable to consider the merits of the underlying determinations. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision. Claimant had good cause for missing the first hearing, late AT, overpayment of $1,200, waiver denied.
Good cause for claimant's non-appearance at AT1, timely claim and appeal resubmit.
We will resubmit the case.
3570128, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant was receiving benefits and was not required to accept work that paid less than $26.25 an hour. Despite this, the claimant accepted work with the employer. While the AT did not take testimony regarding the claimant's hourly wage, the claimant testified that the work was part-time and new part-time work should not be considered suitable work when there is no evidence that the claimant previously worked part-time. Therefore, since the claimant was qualified to receive benefits when he took the job and worked less than 4 weeks, the claimant had good cause connected with the work for quitting under section 207.045 G1. Reverse the AT, no voluntary leaving, no overpayment.
We should affirm the AT decision. The claimant quit when he was advised that continuing employment could impact his UI benefits. Since a fear of receiving reduced UI payments does not provide a party with good cause to quit, we should affirm the AT decision, voluntary leaving, overpayment.
No voluntary leaving, no overpayment.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Three five seven four nine one six, Commissioner Trevino.
While I do not dispute that the claimant failed to establish good cause for not appearing at the AT1, commission records established that the claimant's continued claim involved her work for a gig economy employer and self-employment. As such, the continued claim dated February 25th of 2023 should be voided. The claimant did not establish good cause for AT1, void the continued claim, set aside AT decision, and set aside the job separation and overpayment determinations.
We should affirm the AT decision. Concerning good cause, the claimant missed the AT hearing because she miscalendared the time of the hearing and failed to appear. Since the claimant missed the hearing due to circumstances within her control, she did not establish good cause. Concerning the job separation, the claimant ceased performing services when she lacked a reliable mode of transportation. Because the claimant stopped working due to personal reasons, she's considered to have quit without good cause connected with work. As such, we should affirm the AT decision. The claimant did not establish good cause for missing the AT hearing, voluntary leaving, overpayment.
Claimant did not establish good cause for AT1. Set aside the AT decision, void the continued claim, void the overpayment. We need a memo to investigate availability for work.
Short form dissent.
Thank you. I have your short form dissent. Mr. Chairman, could you please repeat your vote for me?
Claimant did not establish good cause for AT1, set aside the AT, void continued claim, void overpayment, memo to investigate availability.
To void the.
3576722, Commissioner Esparza.
The AT decision should be affirmed. The claimant quit her job. Upon hire, the claimant notified the employer that she would be able to walk to work. Nonetheless, the claimant quit after only one day on the job due to her work schedule. The record does not indicate that the claimant asked about the hours she would be working. Moreover, the claimant did not provide the employer an opportunity to remedy her concerns before quitting. In sum, the work was suitable for the claimant and her resignation was without work-connected good cause. We should therefore affirm the AT decision, voluntary leaving, overpayment, designate the employer as not a party of interest.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant quit her position after working one partial day for the employer. She resigned because the work was unsuitable as her assigned work hours required her to walk to work before sunrise. The shifts that the claimant was assigned to work were not sustainable for the claimant to continue working for the employer. Under section 207.045 G1 of the Act, the claimant had good cause for quitting because she was receiving benefits when she took the job. The work was not suitable due to the claimant's safety concerns, and the claimant worked less than 4 weeks for the employer. Reverse the AT, no voluntary leaving, no overpayment. Employer is NPI.
Voluntary leaving, overpayment, employer is not a party of interest.
Ma'am, I'll short form dissent.
Thank you.
3577533, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not fully supportable. I do not contest that the employer had good cause for its failure to appear at AT1. Regarding the job separation, the evidence established that the claimant was discharged because he refused to sign a non-compete agreement. The employer testified that they were going to discharge the claimant whether he signed the agreement or not, based on their belief that the claimant was going to open his own business. This testimony is not persuasive, as the employer acknowledged that they told the claimant that he would be fired even if he did not sign the agreement. The claimant's refusal to sign the agreement did not constitute misconduct, as the claimant had not been informed of a requirement to sign such an agreement upon hire. Modify the AT, employer established good cause for its failure to appear at AT1. No misconduct, chargeback.
The AT decision should be modified. Regarding good cause, I agree that the employer had good cause for its non-appearance. As to the job separation, the claimant was fired due to his failure to sign a non-compete agreement. The employer provided testimony that the claimant was told he would be discharged if he did not sign the agreement. Given the circumstances, the employer's request was reasonable. The employer presented firsthand testimony from a witness that stated he was approached by the claimant and was asked if he would be interested in joining the claimant's new company. Moreover, this witness also testified that the claimant showed him an invoice from a vendor to purchase equipment used in the industry. Given this detailed testimony, the claimant's denial that he'd never contemplated setting up a competing business prior to the dismissal is not credible. Accordingly, we should modify the AT decision. The employer had good cause for its non-appearance, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Good cause for employer's non-appearance, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
I have your short form dissent.
3589098, Commissioner Trevino.
The decision is not correct. The claimant clearly testified that he missed the AT1 hearing because he did not receive the hearing notice in the mail. He did not find out about the hearing until he received the AT1 decision that informed him of his non-appearance and the reverse of his qualification for benefits. Since the claimant did not receive the hearing notice for AT1, the claimant had good cause for missing the hearing. Therefore, we should reverse the AT2 decision. Claimant had good cause for AT1, resubmit for merits from AT2. In the alternative, this case should be reheard in order to have the claimant clarify his testimony about whether the notice of hearing was ever received at his address of record.
The AT decision should be modified. Regarding good cause, the claimant testified that he had never received a hearing packet. However, multiple people checked the mail where the claimant resides, and there was no testimony to establish that any of those individuals did not receive the hearing notice. As such, the claimant did not rebut the presumption of receipt and did not have good cause for his non-appearance. As to the job separation, the claimant was fired for failing to meet his performance standards. The claimant had been warned multiple times about his performance and had been able to meet the employer's standards in the past. Nonetheless, the claimant continued to not meet his performance standards. Accordingly, the claimant was discharged for work connected with, Accordingly, the claimant was discharged for work-connected misconduct. We should therefore modify the AT decision. The claimant did not have good cause for his non-appearance, misconduct, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
Good cause for claimant's non-appearance at AT1, resubmit.
We will resubmit the case.
Three 3605367, Commissioner Esparza.
We should affirm the AT decision. The claimant was discharged for repeatedly sleeping on the job after prior warning for same behavior. In fact-finding statements, the claimant admitted that photos were taken of him while he was dozing off. He alleged that a medical condition caused his sleeping while working, but the claimant did not provide medical documentation to the employer. Because the claimant continued to sleep while on duty after being warned that his job was in jeopardy, he mismanaged his position of employment. We should affirm the AT decision, misconduct.
The decision should be reversed. The employer discharged the claimant for allegedly sleeping on the job. However, the employer could not detail how or when the claimant was observed sleeping. The claimant did not recall sleeping on the job, but indicated that he briefly dozed off for a few moments, and it was due to his medical condition, which he had informed the employer of previously, and due to the employer frequently switching his schedule between day shifts and night shifts. The claimant provided a sleep study that diagnosed his medical condition and advised him to keep a regular sleeping pattern. Therefore, since the evidence established that the claimant's separation was directly related to his medically verified illness, he was not discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct.
Misconduct.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
3610199, Commissioner Esparza.
We should reverse the AT decision. The claimant was discharged for engaging in unprofessional behavior while making a delivery. The claimant's own testimony established that he refused to follow a client's instructions and used profanity during his interaction. Later, the claimant forcibly grabbed an invoice from the client. While the claimant alleged that the client used profanity first, the employer's policy required the claimant to behave professionally. The claimant's unprofessional behavior placed the employer's relationship with the client at risk. By violating the employer's professionalism policy and not acting in the employer's best interest, the claimant mismanaged his position of employment. Accordingly, we should reverse the AT decision. misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. And the alternative, we could rehear this case. The employer stated that the video of final incident corroborated the client's version of the events. If my fellow commissioners have doubts, despite the claimant's own admissions, review of this video could prove to be dispositive. Rehear.
The AT decision is correct. The employer discharged the claimant for allegedly acting unprofessional while making a delivery to one of its customers. The claimant denied that the employer's allegations of misconduct, and the employer only presented secondhand hearsay testimony regarding the alleged incident. As such, the employer has not met its burden of showing that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
No misconduct, chargeback.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Three six six 1927, Commissioner Esparza.
We should affirm the AT decision. First, I agree that the claim is valid regarding job separation. As with the companion case, the claimant was discharged for repeatedly sleeping at work after prior warning of the same behavior. In fact-finding statements, the claimant admitted to sleeping on the job. He alleged that a medical condition caused him to doze off while on duty, but the claimant did not provide medical documentation to the employer. Because the claimant was sleeping on the job after being warned that his job was in jeopardy, he mismanaged his position of employment. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision. Valid claim, misconduct, no chargeback.
The decision should be modified, as at the companion case, case number 3605367, involving the same work separation, since the evidence established that the claimant's discharge was directly related to his medically verified illness. He was not discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Therefore, we should modify the AT, valid claim, no misconduct, no chargeback, MVI.
Valid claim, misconduct, no chargeback.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent. That was the last case on docket 22. You should have received the short form dissent list for the remainder of the cases.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 22.
I second the motion except for those cases in which I am dissenting, as reflected on the UI short form dissent list for docket 22.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I am dissenting as reflected in UI short form dissent list for docket 22.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. That brings us to the end of agenda items 1 through 8. We'll take a short recess.
Thank you.
All right, this is agenda item 9, estimated unemployment trust fund balance.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners. For the record, Chris Nelson, Chief Financial Officer. This morning, you have before you the updated or most recent trust fund projection as of September 30th, 2024. Very close to what we had last time. Right now, we're still projecting a balance as of September 30th of 1.64 billion with a floor of 1.37 billion. We just got in today the official first quarter 2024 wages. So the floor is set by the taxable wages through the second quarter. So we have 3 of the 4 quarters. So I just got that today. I'll be evaluating that and may bring that another estimate back at the end of June. But right now it's looking pretty close to the 1.3 billion floor. So being above the floor means we will transfer at this time to cover the skills appropriation and leaving a balance in the ETI account of $344 million as of September 30th. That concludes my remarks, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions?
None here.
No questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
This is agenda item 10, distribution use 4% quality improvement funds to boards and board contract year 2025.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. Reagan Miller with Child Care and Early Learning Division. This afternoon for your consideration is a discussion paper to distribute an additional 4% in quality improvement funding. This is in addition to the 2% quality improvement funding that's required in state statute. This would increase the board's child care quality improvement funding to 6% in board contract year 2025. The statutorily required 2% would continue to be included as part of the board's allocation. 2% is carved out for quality improvement, and you will approve this when you consider the board's BCY 25 allocations at a future commission meeting. We're recommending that the new 4% quality funding, which totals $54,965,106, be distributed based upon the relative proportion of child care services providers, with 60% based on the relative proportion of the programs and 40% based upon the board's relative proportion of the licensed capacity of these CCS programs. We're also recommending that the commission direct staff to issue guidance to boards setting the parameters for the use of these additional 4% funds in order to direct these funds towards activities that directly benefit child care providers and the child care workforce. The discussion paper provides several examples of how boards could use these funds. Boards will be required to submit a plan for TWC's approval on the board's use of these additional 4% quality improvement funds. And as we've been doing, TWC will post a copy of the child care quality improvement plans, both for the 2% and the 4% funds on the Child Care and Early Learning webpage. Attachment 1 provides the board by board distribution amounts, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments?
No questions.
No questions.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move we approve the increase in board contract year 2025 child care quality funding and the associated parameters for the distribution and use of the quality funding as described in the discussion paper and recommended today by staff.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded, motion carries. This is agenda item 11, waiver of the child care services rules in 40 Texas Administrative Code Section 809.91 subparagraph F regarding providers eligible for payment for a child care director's children.
Again, for the record, Reagan Miller, Child Care and Early Learning Division. This afternoon, we're bringing forward a request for a waiver of the child care rules. This waiver is being requested in accordance with Section 809.3 of the child care rules, and the waiver is requesting a waiver of Section 809.13F. Under TWC's rules, a child care director whose children have been determined eligible for CCS may not place her children within the child care program that she is the director for. We have received a request to waive this for a child care director in a rural county that's a child care desert. Within this county, there are only 2 regulated child care programs and only 1 per program participates in CCS. We're recommending that based upon these circumstances, the commission authorize a waiver of 809.91F to allow this parent to enroll her children in the CCS child care program in which she is the director.
Comments or questions?
No questions.
I got a question. Is this only for the director, or is this anybody, any program, any caregiver, employee of a provider?
So under our rules, anybody that is an owner of a program or a director of a program is precluded from enrolling their children in that program that they're a part of.
Okay.
Only for the directors and owners.
Very good.
If the commission were to waive this rule, what additional checks and balances will be put in place to ensure we're protecting something obviously with this rule? What additional checks and balances will be put in place to protect that?
We are. So the rule was put in place with the idea that an owner or director potentially have a higher probability of malfeasance or fraud if they were to be caring for their own children. This particular childcare provider is actually part of an independent school district. So this director doesn't operate the program independently of additional oversight provided by the school district. We would need to make sure that her children continue to remain actively in care. And we can certainly request that there be ongoing checks. We are launching our new Tech C3 system. We have our new automated attendance system, so we can confirm that those children are in fact in care if this waiver is approved.
So the childcare center is owned by the school district?
Correct. It's the childcare program of the ISD in that county.
So the director of this childcare center is an employee of the ISD?
That is my understanding, yes.
Is it a pre-K program as well?
I don't have the answer to that.
So who handles the finances for the childcare center? Does the ISD handle those?
I would have to check. I would assume under the ISD that it would likely be processed through the ISD, but we would have to confirm.
I mean, it's possible the central office is doing this as a matter of bookkeeping like they do probably the other campuses.
Yes.
So would the director in this sense, their duties would be different than directors at other places?
Potentially, but they likely don't have as much governance over the entire childcare program since they are part of a larger organization. They're not operating as an independent standalone entity. They are part of the ISD.
I would presume the reason this rule's in existence is because the director has to certify what kids were in attendance that would be eligible for subsidy. Is that right?
It was put in place when we actually took paper attendance from childcare directors. We've since moved to the parents actually recording their own child's attendance. So we actually have parent attendance tracking rather than director attendance tracking. But we've had this rule in place, well, for many, many years when they used to report attendance themselves.
Any other questions or comments?
No, none here.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move we approve the limited waiver of 40 Texas Administrative Code, section 809.91F as described in the discussion paper and presented today by staff.
I'll second it.
Would you accept an amendment that in exchange for the waiver, that someone from the ISD would certify that those kids were in attendance?
Yes, I could accept that.
I'll accept it.
So moved and seconded on the amendment. The motion before us is, the motion is read by Commissioner Trevino plus the amendment that someone from the ISD would certify their attendance. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. This is agenda item 12, board nominees.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners, and Mr. Townsend. For the record, Shanta Williams with the Workforce Development Division. And today for your consideration, we have board nominations for Workforce Solutions Capital Area, Concho Valley, East Texas, North Central Texas, Heart of Texas, Golden Crescent, North Texas, and West Central Texas. Staff recommends approval on the presented nominees, and I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Questions or comments?
No questions.
No questions.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move we approve the local Workforce Development Board member nominees presented today for the following: Workforce Solutions Capital Area, Concho Valley, East Texas, North Central Texas, Heart of Texas, Golden Crescent, North Texas, and West Central Texas.
A second.
It's been moved to second.
Yeah.
And the motion carries. Thank you. An executive director's report.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, it's 2 weeks in a row. This afternoon, I wanted to mention to you, last week TWC received 2 Best of Texas Awards presented from the Government Technology Magazine at the Texas Digital Government Summit. Sapna Ahuja, apologize for the pronunciation, received the award for excellence in project management. That was for our recent rollout of the workforce case management system. And we, TWC also received the award for best workforce / workplace initiative for our IT software engineer apprenticeship program. So very exciting results from last week as far as the awards for TWC. Also, we'll just mention, as you probably know, we do have Courtney Arbor in attendance today, as her last day will be Friday. I think I made that announcement last week that she will be moving on in another position. But I didn't know if you had any easy questions you wanted to toss at her before she got out of here or not, but thought I'd just give you that opportunity.
I mean, you have questions?
I do. I have one question.
All right, okay.
Addressing to Courtney.
Ms. Arbor, could you
Here you are.
just probably, I don't make you stand, you can sit there.
Thank you.
For Commissioner Esparza's
So,
many questions that, he has a whole list. I can
yeah.
see him. He has a whole notebook dedicated to this
Keep going
task.
on.
This is amazing.
It's like a CVS receipt. Courtney, assuming the role of executive director at TDLR, you tell me, are you aware of the number of elevators that are in the state? And will you be personally riding these elevators to sign off and provide your signature on these elevators?
I'm going to be very, very busy. Yes, Commissioner.
Well, that goes all on my second question. She shot him down.
But you raise an interesting point. So one of our elevators is making a weird noise. And it does this intermittent. Do you have any ideas as to why that elevator might be making that weird noise?
Give me 2 weeks and I'll have an answer.
That's a good answer.
That's a great
Whoops.
answer. So how far are you moving? I think it's just across the street, right?
Just across the street on Colorado Street.
At least we'll be close enough to go bug you every now and then, but congratulations, Courtney.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope we'll be able to continue working together.
We have an elevator.
Yeah.
And one that needs work. I was going to blame Lowell, but I guess now you can blame me.
No, it's probably a little.
Spring Bulls.
Any other questions?
Just get ready for the new acronyms over there. too.
Yeah.
I've asked for a dictionary.
Well, since we made you come all the way down here, congratulations. This is it's an important role for the state, but I think definitely your leadership's gonna make a fairly quick positive difference in that agency. Regulatory agencies, you know, they have their challenges just by the very nature of the thing. This agency, I think, TDLR has been trying to do some good work, and I think because of occupational licensing and some other things, you know, we're going to, I think we're definitely going to continue to have some overlap. I was doing my normal Friday afternoon reading of the labor code, and I discovered a whole chapter in the labor code. I think it's 91 of the labor code that talks about our shared responsibility on something. So you're not really getting away from us at all. And I'll be exercising, you know, chapter 91 a lot now that I know that exists.
I can't wait.
I know you can't. So the anticipation is just, it's heavy in the room. It is. And congratulations.
Congratulations,
Seriously.
Jordan.
It's pretty
Thank you.
awesome.
You're gonna do great.
Thank you.
Is there any other order of business come for the commission today?
None here.
No, sir.
Nope. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to adjourn. Courtney concurs, and we are adjourned.